In this video, we are going to see how to query the displacement results at the remote point where the load is applied. In SimSolid, we have included an option in Pick Info dialog to query the displacement at remote point. Before querying the result, let's take few seconds to review the model. For the sake of demo, we have considered a plate model. Here we have 4 different structural subcases, and in the interest of time, we have solved all the subcases. The first subcase is the linear static. Let's review the boundary conditions of the subcase. We have immovable support created at one end of the plate, and at the other end of the plate, we have utilized its surface to create a remote load. Force is applied in all 3 directions, hence the resultant force is applied at the remote point created. To query the remote point displacement, navigate your mouse to Workbench toolbar and select Pick Info. In Pick Info dialog, we have 3 options: Pick Point, Pick Face and Pick Load. Select Pick Load and choose the remote load created. On the right hand side of the dialog, one can get the displacement at remote load, including the displacement magnitude, displacement along force direction and displacement along all 3 directions respective to global coordinate system or local coordinate system if created. Similarly, we can query the remote point displacement for linear dynamic subcases, and one can plot the curve for remote point displacement versus frequency or time. In this project, we have both frequency response and transient response subcase. Let's understand how to query the remote load displacement for each. Navigate your mouse to Workbench toolbar and select Pick Info. Select Pick Load in the dialog and choose the remote load created. In the response dropdown, we have remote point displacement magnitude along force direction and along 3 different directions. Let us select a remote point displacement along y-axis to plot the curve and hit Evaluate. This gives you the curve plotted between remote point displacement along y-axis versus the frequency. One can select the point along the curve to see the values respective to the frequency. In a similar fashion, you can review the transient response analysis. Navigate your mouse again to Workbench toolbar and select Pick Info. Follow the same steps that we followed for frequency response to plot the curve between remote load displacement versus time. You can also save the graph plotted as an image or a text file. Thank you for watching.